What is going on, everyone? The Houston Texans can make a big splash, and that splash will be trading for star pass rusher Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers, who have once again placed the franchise tag on the star pass rusher, and it doesn't look like a deal is going to get done anytime soon between Brian Burns and the Carolina Panthers. So a lot of people are speculating that the two-time Pro Bowler could be traded this offseason. Now, the Carolina Panthers have screwed this all up because they could potentially end up with nothing at the end of the year. If the Panthers fail to agree on a long-term deal with Brian Burns or fail to find a trade partner this year, once 2025 hits and Brian Burns is a free agent, he can walk and the Carolina Panthers will get absolutely nothing. And what stings is, if you remember, they were offered 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick by the Los Angeles Rams last year, and they said no. Now, flash forward to today, no one is going to be offering 2 first-round picks, let alone one. This is from Josina Anderson. Regarding Carolina's current situation with Brian Burns, a league source told me in their opinion that the Panthers should adapt better to present circumstances in order to potentially consummate a trade. The source said in the review it's a double whammy to pay huge money for a player and also give huge draft compensation to the other team for a deal. They added, the time to get more draft picks was when the player has years left on their deal, but if the player is in their last year, the other team has to be prepared to keep the player or take less. I've heard some league sources say third round compensation is fair for Brian Burns if acquiring the team is also giving him a long-term deal. But that asking for 1+ is definitely too much for them. I think this will be a perfect situation for Houston Texans general manager to swoop in and bring in a star player like Brian Burns. We know from Patrick Storm that they tried to trade for him at the deadline. They said no. I'm not sure what type of compensation that the Houston Texans were offering. But if you tried a couple of months ago, why not try again? And it could potentially be cheaper. Brian Burns, 25 years old. This will be a great opportunity to solidify your defense for years to come. We are going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast. I drop daily Texans content, so follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and this episode was brought to you by my friends at Underdog Fantasy. Use my promo code, download the app 713HOU, and get a first-time bonus deposit up to $100. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Now, if the report from Josina Anderson is true, once again, I've heard some league sources say third-round compensation is fair from Burns if the inquiring team is also giving him a long-term deal, but that asking for 1+ is definitely too much for them. If I'm Nick Caserio, I am offering this year's third round and a fifth rounder next year to sweeten the deal and make it a done deal. Brian Burns, you are a Houston Texan, and then I am making him one of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL because that's exactly what he deserves. Will come to Houston and be a captain on this defense, a captain for the entire team. Is still only 25 years old. You are getting him as he enters the prime of his career. What Brian Burns does well is get to the quarterback. If sacking the QB is art, Brian Burns is Bob Ross. In 2023, 8 sacks, 16 tackles for loss. In 2022, when he was a Pro Bowler, 12.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. In 2021, when he was a Pro Bowler, also 9 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 9 sacks in 2020, and 7.5 sacks in 2019, which was his rookie year. There is no injury concerns with Brian Burns. in his 5 years has played no less than 15 games. This is already getting me excited. And if I'm the Houston Texans, I jump all over this. I have no doubt that Brian Burns can come in and change this Houston Texans defense. And think about a D-line of Will Anderson Jr., whatever you do at number 23. So let's say it's Jerzon Johnny Newton from Illinois, Malik Collins, and Brian Burns. You might have two double-digit sack edge rushers. You might have one of the best edge rushing combos in the NFL with Will Anderson Jr. coming off of Defensive Rookie of the Year season and then adding a pass rushing specialist like Brian Burns. This would be the big move for the Houston Texans this offseason. This would be everything we have wanted, which is headlines. Everyone in H-Town is going to be excited. You're going to have people saying, oh, these guys are favorites in the AFC. But once again, we will have to see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you would do if you are General Manager Nick Caserio. Are you bringing Brian Burns to Houston or not? For more Houston Texans content, you guys feel free to follow me for more. Go H-Town. Have a very blessed day.